is Monday, December 20th in the NBA, and I am back with my 4 best picks of the day. We got 3 player props and 1 spread pick coming your way. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Before we get into a winning day from yesterday, let's address the elephant in the room, and boom, you see it. The $16,000 subscriber parlay is here. Yes, every subscriber milestone we hit, and we hit 16,000 subscribers, although it might not seem like we just hit it, but we really did. We're at 16.3 at the moment. When we do it, we do a parlay, and the payout's always that subscriber milestone. So this time, 16,000, and as always, if it cashes, half the winnings will go away to you guys. All the people that are subscribed to the channel will pick out a bunch of random ones. We've been close in the past. Yesterday's NFL one was an absolute flop. That one just did not pan out well, but I really like what we got today. I'll break down all the legs at the end of the video, but as always, let's get into a recap. So like I said, if it cashes, we'll give away half the winnings to all the subscribers, so make sure you click that subscribe button. Now let's recap yesterday. Another winning day in the NBA, 2-1. Our best bet of the day, Damian Lillard, under 8.5 assists. That was a no sweat bet for you guys if you took it. He had 1 assist at halftime. I think he ends with 5. Now our other one, LeBron James, easily cashes his rebound, PRA line, points, rebounds, assists. Our only loss of the day, Heat, -6. Clap it up to them. They gave the Pistons a free win. The Pistons were on a 14-game winning streak. You can't do anything about that. We're proud of you, Pistons. Glad you guys got off the snide. Now let's move into my best bet of the day. We've been on a pretty decent streak in these. We'll move to it. Josh Giddey. We're taking his over. 6.5 rebounds, -140. At 7.5, a little bit sketchy, but you see he's going to be in the parlay later. I'll talk about him then. Now, Josh Giddey, he's a rookie for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I believe the 5th overall pick in this past draft, and he's been solid this season. He honestly has been pretty good. He's been filling up the stat sheet, one of the best in the NBA, doing so just so early on into his career. On the season, he's averaging 7.2 rebounds per game over just 30 minutes per game, but he's recently played a little bit more than that. He's played 32 and 37 minutes his past 2 games, and Giddey has hit this over in 4 straight games, so he's been pretty solid. He does like to end at 7, which is why I'm a little skeptical at 7.5, but 6.5, paying the juice, I'm in. Now he's hit this over in 4 straight games, like I said. Last game, yeah, he hit the over because he had 18 rebounds in his last game, 9 rebounds the game before that. Over his last 4 games, he's averaging 16.3 rebound chances per game. Today they take on the Grizzlies team, which the last time these two teams matched up, yeah, the Thunder lost by 73 points. That was that game. So we'll see. Now, they did not have Josh Giddey, did not have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in that game. So hopefully this one's a little bit closer. The Grizzlies also on a back-to-back. Now, something I do like for Giddey's production is that they moved Darius Bazley to the bench last game. And we were wrong by that. Darius Bazley hit his over, but hopefully they move him back to the bench because they replaced him with Aaron Wiggins. And no offense to Aaron Wiggins. He's 6'6", but he's a shooting guard, not a guy that rebounds the ball a whole lot. Whereas you look at Darius Bazley, 6'8", mainly a power forward, guy that averages 6 rebounds per game. So more opportunities for Giddey to get those rebounds. I think Giddey, he's got a good shot today. Not only get 7 rebounds for over 6.5, but also potentially get 10 rebounds, which we'll talk about later on in the parlay of the day. And the last note, Giddey has hit this over in 14 of his last 19 games. I'll pay the juice at -140, take his over 6.5 rebounds, my best bet of the day. And as always, when you bet Mr. Josh's props, you got to say it, giddy up. Now let's move on into the next play of the day. Reggie Jackson, over 23.5 points plus assists, -120 on points bet. 24.5 is fine too. Not going to really take his PRA line just because I think you lose a little bit of the edge there. He doesn't get a lot of rebounds these days. And if I could offer a piece of advice, probably say to wait to place this line. I do not see it going up. Maybe if you get at 23.5, you can place that one. But I would probably wait because Paul George, we do not know his status today. Could he play? Could he not? If he doesn't play, this line will likely stay the same. But if he does play, this line might go down a point or two, and that might help you out in cashing this because over his last 5 games, he's combined for 26, 24, 21, 28, and 24. So he's hit the over in 4 of those 5 games. Now, for people that bet 24.5, he's ended on the hook twice. But Reggie, what we love about Reggie, he's cashed for us in the past and he shoots a ton. And he's attempted 16 plus shots in 7 of his last 8 games. And most of those are, you see, in 6 to 8 3-pointers. And the biggest part, he really hasn't been shooting it all too well. And so I love his matchup today. He's taking on the San Antonio Spurs. They give up the 8th most threes made in the league. And that number only increases as they go on the road. And you look at it in the last 2 games versus the Spurs, he's had 25 and 32 combined points plus assists. I removed rebounds because, like I said, he doesn't really tend to get a lot of those. It's been a big playmaker for this team, especially without Paul George. But even if Paul George comes back, more defense focus goes towards him, and we'll see him be able to succeed. Reggie Jackson is going to fire up a lot of shots. This is what he does. Now, over his past 2 games for the Spurs, They give up 38 combined points and assists to Tyrese Halliburton, 24 to Mike Conley, even 23 to Jordan Clarkson off the bench. And of course, Donovan Mitchell also hit this over. Reggie has cash props for us in the past, so we'll ride with him again today. Reggie Jackson over 23.5 points plus assists. Now moving on into my first spread pick and only spread pick of the day. Because like I said, it's super hard to bet in the NBA and NFL, honestly. We do have our NFL player props, or Bears versus Vikings best bets. That video is live, link down below. And we do not have one for the Browns-Raiders game because that game has a ton of injury concerns, just like almost every game on the slate today. Hopefully we don't get any postponements. We're taking the Jazz first half spread, and here's why. We don't have a line for it. They normally don't release first half spread lines too often, too early in the NBA, as I record this video pretty early in the morning. But the Jazz currently 12-point favorites against this Charlotte Hornets team. They're at home. I would imagine this first half line will be, 6.5, 7.5 probably? So I'll take with it. Now here's my couple stats for the Jazz. They've lost 2 straight games. Yeah, they lost 2 straight, and they've been 12-point favorites, but Vegas continues to make them big favorites, and I expect them to blow out this Hornets team today. Now, on number 2, you look at the Hornets. They're on a back-to-back. They just got blown out by 31 points to the Phoenix Suns. And yeah, they're on a back-to-back where they're 1-5 against the spread straight up. They've not played well on back-to-backs. And this is their 3rd game in 4 nights, all of them being on the road, their 5th consecutive road game. Then they got one more road game before they go home. Just don't love them that much, and I'll be riding with the Jazz. Now, my last note, Hornets, 10-17-2 against the spread in the first half, the worst in the NBA. All things combined, I'll ride with the Jazz in a big bounce-back spot against the Charlotte Hornets team. So I'll take them. I'll take their first half spread. I will update the pinned comment down below with the official line we go with because, like I said, we don't have a line at the moment. So we'll see exactly what we get. But hopefully it's around 6.5 to 7.5. I'm comfortable laying that number with this Utah Jazz team. And if they lose outright, they will be banished off the channel. Now moving on to my last player prop of the video, another guy that is in the parlay of the day. So we'll talk about him, we'll merge these two. Draymond Green over 25.5 points plus rebounds plus assists, PRAs, minus 105 on DraftKings. Now, Draymond Green, it's another guy that, we will talk about in a little bit in a second, but taking on the Kings, and if he's going to ever hit a triple-double or an over like this, it's going to be against the Kings, because right now the Warriors will be without Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, so that opens up, 30 to 35 shots a game, and someone's going to have to shoot them, and Stephen Curry cannot shoot all of them, and this is a great number against this Kings team who plays at the 3rd highest pace in the league, and that shows because the over-under is 224.5 points. Now, I anticipate Draymond will be a little bit more aggressive than he normally is today, given the injury status of his fellow teammates, and all those shots can't go to Stephen Curry. I mean, Curry's over for points is 32.5. That's his line, but Draymond has hit this over in 2 of his past 3 games, and those games included some of those guys. Andrew Wiggins played in them, one of them, and I believe Jordan Poole played, and Andrew Wiggins played in the other. Now, Draymond, he is what he is. He had 26 combined versus the Knicks, 29 versus the Pacers in his last 3 games. In his past 2 games versus the Sacramento Kings, he's had 26 and 35 PRAs. This is a guy that, you look at the Kings, they give up the most points in the paint per game. They give up 53 per game. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them try to double team a lot off Stephen Curry dribble handoffs. Maybe we get some dump offs to Draymond Green. He just cruises in for a quick lay-in. I'd love to see that. Now, I expect Draymond to attempt at least 8 shots tonight. It's a big ask. I know 8 shots doesn't seem like a lot, but Draymond does not do that a lot this season. And he's really only done it 6 times so far, but in the 6 games he shot 8+ times. He's hit the over in 4 of them. It's a great matchup versus the Sacramento Kings. In 2 games that he failed with 8 shot attempts, he had 24 and 20 combined points, rebounds, and assists. And if you bring it back all over 2021, because we're closing, we're almost in on 2022, only 10 days, 10, 11, 12 days away. In 23 games so far this calendar year, he's hit this over 15 of 23 games when he's attempted 8 or more shots. I do expect him to shoot that many times, especially without Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins today. Someone's got to fire it up, and so I love Draymond Green tonight, over 25.5 PRAs. And this naturally segues into the $16,000 parlay, which, like I said, before we get into it, if it cashes, we're giving away half the winnings to our subscribers. So click that subscribe button. Also, click that like button, too, if you can. Now, let's talk about Draymond Green first, because we just talked about it. Has had a triple-double in a hot minute, but he's been close. He's had 9-9-9. He's had 12-8-12. He's had 14-11-8. He's been pretty close, and he's been in the conversation multiple times. I think he gets over that hump because of the Kings. They play super fast, and they bleed rebounds and assists to opposing power forwards and centers. So I think he's got a good chance tonight. Draymond, there's crazy odds for just, him to get a triple-double and a win, but I do expect the Warriors to win. They're like 12, 13, 14-point favorites. Should be able to get the win at home today, but I do think he has a chance. I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen people hit crazier tickets than this. Draymond Green, triple-double and a win. Now, the next leg, we'll talk about Dejounte Murray, a triple-double. Now, Dejounte Murray, over the past 4 games, he's gone triple-double, no triple-double, triple-double, no triple-double. So, by law, he's probably got to get a triple-double tonight. He's got to keep up the trend, but it's a decent matchup against against the Clippers team, and it's you're throwing a dart with these parlays. You're trying to ask what could happen. Dejounte Murray's had a couple triple doubles, I think 5 or 6 on the year so far this season. It's been more aggressive of late. Derek White really took a backseat last game. I think we could see Dejounte Murray fill up the stat sheet like he normally does. And you look at this Clippers team, they are missing a lot of key players, hopefully Paul George too. They're going to fire up a ton of threes, maybe leads to some long rebounds for Dejounte Murray to grab, maybe some assists on the other end. Now next leg we'll talk about Donovan Mitchell. Now we'll talk about his three-pointers because we're taking 5+ threes because you look at the Hornets, they give up the second most threes per game in the NBA. They give up a ton of threes per game in just to opposing shooting guards. And this is a guy that hits 4 threes. He normally hits around 4 threes a night. All we're asking for is 5. The Hornets actually allowed 3 guys to hit 4 threes last night. We're just asking for 1 more. This is a guy in Donovan Mitchell that attempts, 8 to sometimes 15 threes a night. It's a great matchup, bounce back spot against the Hornets, a team that gives up a ton of 3-pointers. Right with Mitchell, he's hit this in the past before, and I think he can do it again. Now the last leg, Giddey, 10+ rebounds. Obviously the best bet of the day, had 9 and 18 rebounds the past 2 games. Pretty decent matchup against the Grizzlies. They don't give up a ton of rebounds, but this is a guy that they're going to need someone to rebound, and Giddey's been really averaging 16.3 rebound chances the last 4 games. I think he's got a chance here. It's a long shot parlay for a reason, so if it does cash, we'll give away half the winnings to you guys, everyone that is subscribed to the channel. And I'm just saying, there is a chance. That's all we're asking for is a chance. Yesterday in the NBA, NFL was a complete flop. That play it didn't have a chance just because we put too many weird legs in that. But I like all these legs for different reasons. I obviously just broke them down. Now, Monday Night Football, Vikings versus Bears. Best bets is on the screen. Go click it. We have a player prop, a spread pick, and a same game parlay in that one. And so far on the NFL season, or NFL week, we're 7-1 overall. So we've been doing pretty well. Tuesday Night Football, weird. I know Tuesday night, we'll have some videos for that. Those will be posted later tonight. But that is it. Let's go for another profitable day in the NBA. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been awesome. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.